Christenberry Fieldhouse with my Augusta University sweatshirt, my custom-made Augusta University basketball, and I'm going to preview this weekend's opener for the 13th ranked team in Division II, the Augusta University Jaguars, and we're going to have an interview with Coach Dimitris in a second. So the Jags are coming off a great season, Peach Belt Conference, regular season and tournament champions, made it to the Sweet 16 in the Division II NCAA tournament. Like I said, ranked number 13 going in. Finished last season ranked 16 in the nation. The Jags play this Friday at 5 p.m. at Barton College against Mount Olive. They play Saturday at 1 p.m. at Barton College against Barton College. So I will be at both games bringing you highlights, updates, full coverage. So I've got your back on that. Tune in. Before we talk to Coach Dimitris about the season and the opener, I'll introduce you to some key returning players and also a very high-impact newcomer. So when it comes to returners, I'm going to highlight 5 guys, and what I want you to concentrate on is the shooting percentages of all these players. A defining characteristic of Augusta's team is shot selection, offensive discipline. The guys all shoot the ball well and take great shots, and that manifests itself in these shooting percentages. So returning, senior Rafael Monteiro, 6'4" power forward. Rafael was a second team all-conference player last year. He's preseason all-first team this year, averaged 15.6 rebounds, and shot 59% from the field, 42% from the three-point line, and 72% from the free throw line last year. Miguel Arnold, a guard, sophomore, co-rookie of the year in the conference last year. Miguel averaged 12 points a game, shot 47% from the field, 46% from the three line, and 85% from the charity stripe. Tyree Myers, returning starting point guard. He's a sophomore as well. Tyree averaged 10 points, 5 assists per game, shot 48% from the field, 44% from the three, 79% from the free throw line. Troy Cracknell, returning junior, only played 16 minutes per game last year, but he made them count. Averaged 7 points a game, but listen to these shooting percentages: 48% from the field, 48% from the three-point line, 87% from the free throw line. The 5th guy I'll highlight is Darren Lucas-White. He's a sophomore this season, made a big impact last year in 19 minutes per game. He's our best defender, and I expect great things out of Darren this season with probably an expanded role, to say the least. A newcomer that I have to highlight is Tyshaun Crawford, a sophomore transfer from Georgia Southern. Tyshaun is a 7 foot tall center, much better than I would have ever expected. I've seen him play in some scrimmages. He can play, he can score, he can do a lot of things. I'll talk to Coach Dimitris in a second about him and these returnees. Okay, Coach, we Jags fans, we have access to the returning players. We know what we remember from last year. We know about a 7-foot transfer. That's big news. But what's on your mind as you open the season Friday, and what can you tell us that we might need to be thinking about when it comes to the 2019-20 Jaguars?
Well, it's a totally different team. We lost 3 great seniors that impact us upon the banner. We've got 3 new guys that are going to play prominent roles, and more importantly, the guys that return are going to play different roles. We got a great nucleus of guys back, young backcourt, but everyone's role changes. Dean was able to get every big boy rebound down the stretch. Aaron, we can count on every day to be a warrior. And Ty Betts hit a lot of big shots this career. So I'm excited about the returners, but I'm also excited about the newcomers as well.
Yeah, so you mentioned Dean Williams, the leader of last year's team. You have a preseason first team pick this year in Rafael Monteiro, second team all conference last year, 15 points, 6 rebounds a game. Does he, in a way, step into that Dean Williams role, kind of a go-to player?
He is, and he's not blessed with great athletic ability, not a lot of running and jumping, and it's hard for guys like that to get better, but he did. He got better. He's expanded his range. He's keeping his emotions under check. He's become a better passer from the post. So those are things that will help us. Our basis of our only senior we have, and he's important for us to be on the floor. We got to keep him on the floor because everything kind of runs through him in the post.
Yeah. Tell us about another player, and it could be a new player or a returner that maybe has made leaps and bounds from one season to the next.
Yeah, well, Tyshaun Crawford, the big kid we got, 7-footer, has improved tremendously in the short period of time here. He's played very well in the scrimmages. He's a good player. I think he's a guy that can average double-figure points for us, and so he's important to it. With our returning guys, Tyree's kind of our engine. He's the guy that keeps us together. We probably need him to score a little bit more than he did last year. Miguel will expand his role, be able to put on the deck. And Troy Cracknell's our most improved guy. He's shooting pull-ups now. He's always been a good defender. We need him to rebound a little bit better, but he's a good player. So it'll be interesting to watch these guys develop. It's early in the year for us, but boy, it's here. It's on. We're getting ready to play.
Yeah, you mentioned Tyshaun Crawford, 7-foot transferred from Georgia Southern, went to high school at Griffin High School in Georgia. You've said in interviews 2 years off for him, essentially 2 years off. Redshirted a year at Georgia Southern, didn't play a lot of minutes last year as a freshman. I've seen a scrimmage or two, obviously plays a lot, but comes out more regularly than most. Is that it's not 290 pounds?
Yeah,
is that conditioning?
Well, it's hard. He's big. One of our main concerns right now, we got exposed in the recent scrimmage, was transition defense. He's one big guy. He gets down the floor good, but the game has changed since I had Garrett. There's a lot more three-pointers taken, a lot more transition buckets. So we've got to do some things in transition defense to assist him, because he sure assists us.
Yes.
He has to run 94 feet because he's near the basket on the offensive end. He's not floating around the perimeter. So that's a big adjustment, but he's done very well. His conditioning's gotten better. His passing is very good. His communication skills are better. So we're excited about him. I think he can have a major impact on us if he keeps getting better, which I see no reason why he wouldn't.
Yeah, conditioning and taking 2 years off, that explains a lot of that. One thing that I also noticed in those scrimmages is he's a better scorer than I thought he would be. He can put the ball in the hole.
Well, I saw it in high school. When I saw him playing AAU, I go, oh, he's a really nice guy, nice touch. And he is. He's a better scorer than everybody gives him credit for. He can go over both shoulders a little bit. He definitely goes over his right shoulder. He's got a soft touch. With the exception of one night, he's made free throws. So it's a growing process. With him, you got to figure out, can he play late in the game? Because of ball screen defense, transition buckets. So we've got to figure out who our closing line is going to be. Hopefully it'll be him. But big guys like that get in foul trouble. There's some issues you're dealing with just because he's bigger than everybody.
Mm-hmm. Before you go now, a couple other returners. You mentioned Miguel Arnold and Troy Cracknell. What strikes me from last season is their shooting percentages. These guys pretty much were red hot for a whole season. I don't know. I mean, that's not very common to have two guys shoot that well.
I know. They take good shots. Miguel will hoist up a couple that may be ill-advised in my mind, but for the most part, they take good shots. And Tyshaun's presence inside is only going to help them. Dean was a good passer, and as long as they take open shots, I'm okay with it. They shoot transition threes. They're good players. They have the freedom to do that. And the best thing I've seen with Troy and Miguel this year is when their shot's not going and they're still defending, which is important for some guys. They dictate their ability to play on when they make shots, and they're both not that way this year, which is great.
Yeah, those two guys hovered right under 50% from the three line, and then even Tyree Myers, another returning starter, he shot something like 44%. So really good shooting team to go with that presence inside. Should be a great mix. Right. Before we go, did you check out Kentucky, Michigan State, Duke,
Ironically, I watched.
Kansas?
Yeah, I watched a little bit before practice. We had late practice last night. And I watched the second part of Kentucky, and it wasn't aesthetically beautiful to watch.
Very low scoring.
Very low scoring. Very anti-NBA-ish. You watch NBA games, it's 140 to 130. I jokingly said nobody's any good this time of year. Yeah. Kansas turned the ball over 28 times and had a chance to win.
Yeah.
I don't think Duke played particularly well and was able to pull out a win. So, this time of year you just have to be less bad than your opponent, and I think it was evident. I actually watched some of the Georgia Southern Auburn game last night.
Okay.
It was a lot different, a lot up and down, a lot of higher scoring game. But it's the same thing. It's a game of mistakes, and you got to limit them, especially early in the year.
Well, hopefully Augusta University will be, what'd you say, nobody's good this time of year? Hopefully we'll be less bad than Mount Olive and Barton this weekend.
Absolutely. That's kind of the goal every year. You don't really play your best basketball. I hope not. I mean, we weren't good in November. You want to play your best basketball late in the year. And hopefully that'll hold true. Now, on the flip side, if you get out and win a few games, you want to keep playing well. So it's a big challenge. But we're excited about this group, and hopefully we keep this thing rolling.
Yeah. Good luck, Coach.
Thanks, Mike.